Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Blueprints and Banter. I am Steve Cona, President and CEO of ABC Florida Gulf Coast Chapter. And today's topic brought to you by our friends at Adams Group, DeWalt, Gaylor Electric, Gignard Company, Milwaukee, Piper Fire Protection, and Sims Crane. Today's topic is technology. All sorts of construction technology. Obviously, in our industry today, it is very difficult to build things without using technology. We have a labor shortage out there. It's very tough to build things. So we have to be as technical and as technology savvy as possible to build things. And today, my guest is Nathan Somerville with VectorNet. Nathan, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you. So talk to me a little bit about VectorNet and how you got started.
So VectorNet started 3 years ago. We're a Tampa-based firm. We're an engineering design firm, technically, but we focus on reality capture and advanced construction technology for the AEC space. As architects, engineers, and contractors internal to our company, we have experience with a lack of tech in our lives.
Right, yeah.
And we've worked with subcontractors providing tech to us or helping us to try and build this use of tech in the space. And we found that suppliers were falling short. They were not really understanding the needs of what our company needed as an engineering firm and then as an architectural firm in my career. So we started VectorNet to provide more of an insider's perspective on those tools and that information. So that's how VectorNet got started about 3 years ago. I'm a licensed engineer and a licensed contractor in the state of Florida, so we bring in kind of a unique perspective to what we do specifically in the industry.
Excellent. So you know what's interesting is, with the implementation of technology, we have very high skilled people who build things, but they're very low tech sometimes, right? And our industry has been, very slow sometimes to adopt technology, but because of our labor shortage, if you want to go into it, like how are you seeing companies adopt technology now?
So if you look at large contractors, DPR, Brassfield and Gorey, Barton Mallow, those kind of guys, they have companies like my own already internal to their group, right? They've committed to technology because they know they forecast, they see these challenges come up, labor shortage, you mentioned that type of thing. And really, education or skilled workers are capable of learning other things, right? They've learned the work that they do is high-tech work, right? High-tech in their field, plumbers, electricians, it's very specialized work. So they're capable of learning things. We just need to bring in these extra tools, right? They learned how to use a screwdriver to a drill. I mean, that sounds stupid, but you can learn to use a computer, to a laser scanner, to a BIM model. We all have those capabilities and those techniques inside, in those abilities to do that.
So let's talk about some of the hottest trends that you see coming down the pipe.
Well, obviously the most is AI, right?
AI, right, yeah. Everyone's talking about AI.
Yeah, and what does that mean? I mean, for an individual project manager, ChatGPT is a great AI tool that's out there, and it's more than a search engine. If you don't have AI, you need to get it, and you need to get the paid version, because when you have ChatGPT to help, I mean, I use AI to have this conversation before we came here to practice, AI needs to be checked. It's only as good as the data that goes into it. But AI is being incorporated into all sorts of tech stacks and tools that are out there. Procore incorporates AI into analyzing RFIs and documents as they come in. They analyze schedules and try to be more proactive on delays that are upcoming in construction. BIM 360, Revit, I mean, they all have AI tools that are being into it. We just need to embrace that it's coming. It's a tool that we need to learn. And just like all tech, tech keeps growing in our industry and just in the world in general because it makes our jobs easier. It doesn't add to the cost of construction. It helps keep the construction costs down as labor costs go up and as also as material costs go up.
Yep. So let's talk about this new kind of reality capture space. You guys are doing a lot in that.
So laser scanning is kind of the core of reality capture, but reality capture is really anything. It started off as taking pictures, painting pictures. Photogrammetry is advanced pictures and stitching images together to create 3D models. Laser scanning in particular is getting faster. The equipment is getting faster, better, easier to manage and easier to operate. The challenge comes with laser scanning and reality capture is managing the data. So we have data to store now, we have data to handle, we have to transfer data. 10 years ago, I did an engineering project where we hired a laser scanner to come out, and I didn't get the data back until I was actually done with the design, so it didn't really help me, right? Now we can bring laser scanners onto a construction field and scan during concrete pours analyze the data same day and have reports back and make adjustments before the concrete even starts to cure.
Right.
So a lot of firms aren't using that because they may be scared or the cost may be high. Laser scanners can cost $50,000 to $150,000 depending upon which brand you go with and which capabilities they have. But having a partner like VectorNet, let's just say, we can bring it in, give you a taste of it, show you how it works, and give you a chance to use it. Because if you're not using it, you're getting overpassed by people that are using it, right? The tools are here, they're getting better, and everybody's going to keep using them.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that lots of the, large GCs have already adopted all of this stuff, but we have a lot of mid-sized GCs, and there's so much work out there, right? You have all of these mid-sized companies, mid-sized trade contractors. Like, what advice would you give to them to kind of how to try to stay ahead in this this world?
That's a big question. Is first, be open to technology, right? Go to conferences. There's some great conferences out there where people talk about tech in construction. I mean, ABC, you guys throw on some great innovation technology conferences in Orlando with the Central Florida group.
Right.
Here on the Gulf Coast, we had the Innovation and Safety Summit, I think.
And we have one on August 29th as well. So
awesome. Hopefully we'll be presenting at that one. But those are a great opportunity to hear about new tech and see what companies around are doing that. Partner up, ask some of these big companies, what are they doing? Beck's a great company here in Tampa that is using advanced tools. They're partnered with Hensel Phelps on the Airside D project at the Tampa airport. They're using a lot of advanced technology with laser scanning and BIM modeling and VDC in construction. The other thing is to ask companies like VectorNet or other small firms for lunch and learns. We come in, we bring lunch, we educate you, give some CEUs out to architects, engineers, contractors, and help just bring some knowledge about what is out there, what are the tools, and how to incorporate them into the workflow. So
give me a couple examples of how a smaller contractor or subcontractor can use this kind of technology.
The easiest is in existing conditions.
Right.
Architects, they do a great job, and sometimes there's always a line in the drawings that says contractor to field verify, and the contractor has a responsibility to verify the existing conditions of a project. That's typical. We're trying to get architects to do that ahead of time, with the use of laser scanning. But the first thing is contractors can use laser scanning to verify existing conditions. A company like VectorNet can come in, or if they have it internally, they are doing it themselves. They'll laser scan a building, create a 3D model, which is called a point cloud model, which is what the laser scanner produces, and then compare that to the Revit model. There's actually AI tools that you can bring point cloud data into the Revit model and do automatic kind of variance to show, well, how accurate is this Revit model to the existing conditions? That's step one in a process. Just get a laser scan of existing conditions of the model before you start construction.
Right. So how does maybe we're going to try to go a little deeper, like a small contractor get into this game. And I know you're going to conferences, but sometimes you might be forced to be in the game when you're not even sure what the game is. There's
tools that contractors can use that are very low cost. A 360 camera.
Right.
You can slap that on your hard hat, you can walk around with it just to document the space. There's software, you can do that daily, you can do that weekly, you can get on a cadence. There's software programs out there that can take that imagery and that videography and analyze it and actually tell you where you are in the phase of construction. You can bring drawings into that. It gets complicated because there's all these different layers you can throw onto it, but the first thing I would say is just put a camera on your head and walk through the job site and document the information. That's easy. That's the easiest way to get started.
So one of the things, when we have our Tech and Safety Conference on the 29th, we actually included safety and tech in the same conference. Let's talk about maybe a little bit the importance of how tech is helping in the safety world as well.
So there are, we'll talk about this hard hat camera, right?
Right.
So there's software programs that can use AI and machine learning to spot safety issues, hazards before they become one, just by analyzing imagery. There's a company called Scanned.io out there where you can just bring in imagery and train it and say, okay, when there's this thing on the ground, I want that to red flag, or when there's an exposed opening, I want you to red flag this, or there's construction defects, you can red flag that. And identifying safety issues is easy to do with the right tool and the right equipment and the right software platform. And it can be automated, and it can really make a big impact on a job site to improve safety. You know what's funny? I think we were just at a conference, and the big thing was wearables for construction workers. Mm-hmm. You heard anything about any of that kind of stuff? Yeah, so
monitoring the health of the person while they're working?
Oh yeah, that type. So wearables for health. I've actually not heard about that. I could imagine. I mean, I'm wearing a smartwatch right
same
now.
Here.
You know, mine beeps at me when my heart rate gets up because I get all excited all the time about things. And I'm actually tracking my blood pressure regularly and all this kind of stuff. But you know, that's actually an interesting thing. I'm sure that if you have wearables on everybody in a construction site, you could monitor people's location. Could be important when you have confined space areas or hazardous areas or crane lift areas. Or, I think that one day there may be the ability to incorporate like red tape where areas are red taped off and with caution taped off and bring that up into a digital twin of the construction zone and see where everybody's at. When people are in that site, you can
alert them when they're in a place.
Or alert them when if they're not registered to be in there, if there's a active permit in that spot, just what are the hazards in this area. I don't know that there's anybody doing that right now. It's just that could possibly be done.
Yeah, we probably just created something right now.
Yeah, we just did. But you know, and then from a wearables perspective, really the helmet camera, Open Space, QPix, those places, those companies, they're using wearable cameras to identify things within the job site, use AI to identify, and then you communicate that to the team. So everybody, even though it's not a wearable that affects the person individually, it can affect the entire construction team when those things are identified and remediated before they become an issue.
Yeah, I know one thing that affects our whole industry is permitting and permitting delays. And man, it is a nightmare right now dealing in the whole state with permitting times and lead times. And like, I'm not sure why some of these local municipalities haven't adopted AI permitting things. Have you seen any advancements in any of that space?
Not with the counties. I mean, like the municipalities, like you said, are typical. I mean, even just, I think Clearwater just recently came off of a paper system and got into digital, which is a blessing for a lot of contractors. I think that from what you can control as an architect, engineer, or a contractor, it's using reality capture, using some AI stuff to make sure that your packages are better, they're holistic. There's probably opportunities to have AI analyze the comments that come back from the city, and then make sure that it can review your package as a whole, look at all the comments you had before. I mean, you can load all that stuff into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, look at my plans, look at these comments I got from these 10 jobs in the past, and it could probably tell you, where you may have gaps. Because you can't always fix the system, but you can adjust your approach to get through the system.
And just wrapping up, so you mentioned ChatGPT. Let's talk about like some day-to-day, I use ChatGPT for almost everything now. But like, talk about how anything that you use in your company to kind of streamline stuff just using chat.
Yeah, so we use ChatGPT for anything other than marketing. I mean, even just this conversation, right? What are some bullet points to talk about when it comes to AI and tech and construction? Not just with ChatGPT, but we use AI specifically in how we manage the data, how we analyze point cloud data, how we do point cloud data conversions to BIM models. And then besides that, we also use it to write proposals. Every contractor out there has to write proposals. Every contractor has to review RFPs. Sometimes RFPs miss information. So ChatGPT is a good tool for that. Load the RFP into ChatGPT, then load your proposal and say, look, am I missing something? You know? Because that's the other thing you don't want to do is lose out on a project because you don't have all the information covered. Now, is this something that a person can do? Yeah, but if ChatGPT can do it in 10 minutes, then me as a person, I can be freed up to do things that are
It's all about being more efficient.
It's all about efficiencies,
Well, Nathan, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to seeing you at our tech conference on 8/29. And anything else you want to add? Plug VectorNet any way you can?
Reach out to VectorNet if you need any reality capture, construction VDC services. Start with the lunch and learn. We start small, help people get in the door, understand what they're going to get, and don't be afraid of asking for help. We try to expose ourselves to the industry as much as possible. We go to conferences across the world, across the U.S., not quite the world yet, but and we're getting involved with large contractors, small contractors, wherever we can to try and help bring tech up in the industry because it's just everybody knows that construction lags behind in the technology implementation. But it lags behind because technology moves so fast, right?
That's correct.
Our job is to stay ahead of it and help contractors, keep up with it. Feel free to ask out, and we can help educate.
Thanks very much for being here, and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to our Blueprints and Banter YouTube page. Like us on Facebook. Anything that we're out there on all streaming platforms. So thanks for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next time.